Sponsored by the Mike Morris Law Firm. 855 Mike Wins. Jason Carr Live starts now.
Only it's not Jason Carr Live.
No, it's not.
Surprise!
Jason is off today,
Yes.
so you get us. Rhonda Walker alongside Brandon Rue.
Yeah, and happy to be here filling in for Jason, talking about what you might be talking about at home. We want to hear from you as well. And welcome to clickondetroit.com, Jason Carr Live.
Well, we have been talking about a variety of things, but I think maybe we'll start with some of the good news out of Ford Motor Company.
Yes, they have they asked the meteorologists here at Local 4 about creating a wind tunnel. So we were prime in their research studies, but it was interesting. We ran the story this morning that they are investing $200 million to build a new wind tunnel complex out in Allen Park.
Yeah, it'll be down in Allen Park, so a big investment for them down there. The complex is going to be built on, apparently there's 13 acres that's right next to Ford's current drivability test facility. So that's where the location is going to be. But what Ford is saying is that the complex will house new innovative technology that delivers state-of-the-art, real-world driving simulations to advance improvements in fuel economy. So it's going to be right there in-house, this ability to simulate wind to improve fuel economy, which
they could have just gone down.
Sounds very
Woodward.
scientific and complicated.
You know how windy it is between the big buildings downtown
Always,
sometimes? Yeah.
Always. Every day's a bad hair day when you're walking around downtown Detroit in what I call the tundra, especially when it's really cold.
But you think about the importance of wind when you're traveling, and these cars now and fuel economy, whether or not they are plug-in cars or if they are hybrid cars, whatever they are, it can make a huge difference between getting 55 miles to the gallon or 35 miles to the gallon.
Right.
If you're in a boxy, hybrid or something like that, you're not going to do real well against.
How aerodynamic is that vehicle? And you'll notice that even when you're just driving your own car, you can tell when wind is making a difference in terms of like if you're driving right in the wind. I remember one day I was leaving downtown and I'm like, what's going on with my car?
Yeah.
But I was driving into the wind, but you could literally feel the difference in how your car was, it just felt like there was something pushing against my vehicle in terms of that in comparison to having maybe a tailwind where you're just kind of flying down the road.
And it even goes for the big trucks, pickup trucks, because those are usually the ones when we're giving wind advisory concerns or information. It's high profile vehicles, which just mean the boxy SUVs and the big pickup trucks and the UPS trucks, things like that have more surface to get impacted by the wind.
But apparently this $200 million investment is being made for a reason. That's really going to be able to make some impact on that fuel economy, particularly with a company that sells, the number one selling pickup truck, the Ford F-150. So
have you ever been out to their other facilities, done any test driving out there?
I haven't, but I really want to.
I did it.
I want to be on an outdoor test track where you can just go as fast as you want, to get a feel for the handle of the vehicle.
I did one where they were testing the technology that lets you know if you're drifting. It senses drifting, whether you're texting or sleeping or something like that,
and it corrects you.
Sort of shakes the wheel and auto-corrects you.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun just to be out there tearing it up. So this is going to be more of an indoor, probably facility, but $200 million invested in Allen Park, downriver, great for that community.
Yeah, shows how important it is.
Yeah.
Well, I think talking community is a good segue to talk about what the entire community is talking about all across Metro Detroit and certainly all across the sports world, the entrepreneurial world in terms of business leaders is the big loss that really is a loss to all of us here in the passing of Mike Ilitch last Friday. And our hearts and our thoughts are certainly with the Ilitch family and his extended family as well, which includes the Red Wings, it includes the Tigers organization, and of course the 4,000 members of Little Caesars as well.
It's just amazing what the man has done, and I did not grow up around here, so I definitely have to lean on you, Rhonda, and you guys want to share your thoughts about favorite memories or anything from Mike Ilitch.
Well, today there's a public visitation at the Fox Theater, and just last night, or just over the past few days, they've had a memorial site at Tiger Stadium with everyone leaving their memories and their thoughts and condolences.
Yeah,
this one right here, if I can pause this, is really quite beautiful. My first job was at Little Caesars when I was 16. Now I'm with the Tigers, going on my 4th season. Thank you for being a forever, and I can't actually read the rest of it, but it's just really nice.
That is a sweet note. Well, I mean, the impact right there.
You think about that. He had very humble beginnings, but he's the type of man that you felt was relatable. He built a over $3 billion corporation, an empire. He helped to rebuild what we call the Foxtown area as it is now. Comerica Park, now the new Red Wings Arena. Fox Theater restoration.
Kind of gives me chills just sitting here talking about it.
It's what he's accomplished is amazing, but it was all a part of building a community and to provide people with opportunity. And he cared so much about that, and it exudes even in his family and his children. They're just such a part of the core of Detroit's grit and hard work and determination. I mean, he had a modest, humble start. He started Little Caesars from one little store in Garden City and grew it to a corporation that's all across the world.
So from noon to 8 today, you can go to the Fox Theater Grand Lobby and be part of the community there in writing a condolence or being part of the memorial there at the Fox Theater today. Now home to the isn't that where the Little Caesars headquarters is being?
They're actually building it right next door. The whole, so you'll be able to see that if you haven't been down in a while. Once you go right there to the Fox Theater, right next door is going to be the actual headquarters for Little Caesars, the corporation. So, and they're trying to create, a part of that that's really going to be interactive and an experience there. I'm going to leave you.
They're calling you away for the news cut-in.
I'm going to go over onto television and do a quick news update, and then I'll come back.
All right, great.
All right.
So, Mike Ilitch, some of the things that I understand, and certainly you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that he had this sort of vision in making a lot of the money, I think, that it took to buy the Tigers and buy the Red Wings was being smart enough to put Little Caesars inside of Kmart's.
Yeah.
Those little pop-up stores were everywhere all of a sudden, and Little Caesars was so popular, and so he was cashing in and putting two great things together for a long period of time and making that fortune that enabled him to do that.
Yeah, and I remember Caesarland, which was like the kids' place with all the arcade games and everything. I mean,
where was that?
There was a couple of them around here. Yeah, I mean,
was it like McDonald's where they have like the play thing inside the restaurant?
More like a Chuck E. Cheese, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, like just arcade games and playrooms and stuff. It was always good memories there.
So he had an impact on little ones, and I read something on Facebook the other day. A guy, I can't even tell you who he is, a fan of the station, put a note on there saying that in the 90s he stopped at a Hardee's and went in to order, and Mike Ilitch comes in right behind him and had never been to a Hardee's before, and he said, "Hey buddy, what's good here?" And the guy said, "I don't know, ham and cheese, fries, that's what I get." Mike Ilitch ordered the same thing and paid for this guy's dinner and just was involved and made this guy's decade just by that simple little move. And he had a brief conversation with him about the Red Wings at the time, and took the time out of there to do it. And also a guy who never who always had a deep faith in Detroit, right? I mean, Dan Gilbert gets a lot of the credit nowadays, and no discredit, very smart businessman, came in when real estate was cheap and bought everything up, but Ilitch was always here, never left, and he kept expanding his vision. And I think a couple of things that folks are sad about. Number one, that he didn't get to see the Tigers win that World Series, so close. And also didn't get to see Little Caesars Arena in its entirety and built. So a couple of professional things maybe. Rhonda's back. We were still talking about Ilitch. I expanded. Are we ready to move on?
Let's move on.
Okay.
All right.
Nokia, the fine Finnish cell phone maker, Rhonda, made what is known as the most indestructible or most durable cell phone ever back in 2000. There it is, John. This was the 3310,
I believe. And I mean, I remember a lot of my friends had this phone. This was it was just unbreakable.
Yep.
You could throw it off a roof and it
You
was
know
still
what?
there.
That's a good point. All those little phones that you had back then, they didn't
Never.
break.
No.
Especially that style. Because I had a couple. I didn't have the actual Nokia, but I had some
Something
phones
like that.
style.
Yeah.
The flip phones, the slide phones, and now all of our smartphones all don't seem to have that same durability,
Right.
if you will.
I mean,
they
when
can
you
do
think,
a lot more.
When you
but
think about it, how could they be durable when the screen on the Nokia 3310 is so small,
it's a bit smaller.
And now it's all screen, and there's so much information coming and going, and so it's not necessarily I'm going to replace my current smartphone with that, John, but
it's just an extra. It's something to keep in the
backup.
glove box.
Yeah.
Really would
But
be
it's
the,
not
the
like
best
that.
place
You'd
for
have to
it.
have a whole other phone number then.
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's
think
not
so.
like you can say, this is my backup with the same number if something goes wrong, which honestly,
Wouldn't that
I
be
think
nice?
that's something that we need to
Right?
come up with,
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
You can have two phones
have
to
a
one
second
line in your
line.
house.
Yep, have a second line. We're not going to charge you that much. That's the thing. Like if
Or I would
Verizon or
just
AT&T
say-
says we're not going to, bump up your rate a whole lot. It's an emergency thing, and if you activate it, it'll be
But why can't it be a second phone with the same phone number?
yeah.
And you pay for it. Maybe, you use that one more as a computer, but when you just want to talk on the phone, you use your Nokia.
Well, these are things on Nokia that you need to think about, but
Be nice.
they're going for like $60, I think.
Yeah, it's real cheap.
Yeah,
Real cheap.
and
Wow, what a difference. 60
The-
compared to 600, what, for the new iPhone
Yeah.
7?
that game, I don't know if you can put that back up, John.
They had games
they
on
had,
it?
they had-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It
what
had-
do you know that game?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea
It's
what that game is.
so popular that I think you can get it on.
You can get it on the iPhone.
Yeah, it's Snake.
Is it Galaga?
It's called Snake and Snake 2.
It kind of looks like the
It
Galaga
does.
little symbol.
I bet
don't
I
know.
have it on here. My kids load all kinds of things on my phone, and I think I've seen that one on there. But I didn't have that phone, and so I didn't play Snake. But I read the article, and I saw that it was just wildly popular.
Going back to the old
Now,
school.
have you guys ever seen the hydraulic press channel? There's a YouTube channel. The guy owns a hydraulic press, and all he does is presses things.
Crush things?
And
What?
here is the Nokia 3310
No.
being pressed. So it is destructible.
It is definitely destructible.
Nearly.
Yes, it's not.
You just need a hydraulic press.
Right.
I mean, come on. Nobody stands a chance in that thing.
Only a hydraulic press will kill
Not
it.
even a car.
There's my mom calling.
Your mom's calling?
I
Is
have
she
to,
watching us?
Well, I'm not going. Maybe.
Maybe she has something to say about it.
Does she have a Nokia?
Yeah, I was just going to say. That's not nice. That was
Listen,
not nice.
my parents are probably a lot like your parents, and they have these, but they really don't know what they're doing.
My parents
Your parents
are
pretty good at. I mean, my mom isn't bad on it, but I couldn't
The
get
basics.
right.
My dad just used his first emoji, which I thought was adorable. He's never used emojis. Everybody else in the family does. We have these group family texts, and all of a sudden, the first emoji popped up, and it was like the little kissy lip.
Oh.
And I was like, Dad,
Daddy.
he used an emoji.
Aw.
Kiss, give you a kiss on the cheek. I thought it was so sweet.
You got a great dad.
I do. Thank you.
Well,
You have a great mom
Thank you,
and dad.
Gloria.
I've met them both.
Yes, good people.
What do you got?
Speaking of phones,
Okay.
So Lego Batman is all the rage right now in theaters. And if you know a little history about Batman, he always had the Bat computer down in the Bat cave, and he used it for different things. Back in the comic days to the movie phases of the 80s and 90s, and in between the television show as well. But the movie references the Bat computer as, Batman calls it pewter.
Yes.
And the voice is,
Recognizable.
yes,
You might call her something else when you talk into your iPhone.
it's Siri.
Siri's voice.
It's Siri's voice. And so now what they've done, and I'm hoping I can pick this up, from what I can tell, you can't just say, hey, pewter, and your phone will listen. You have to press the button like you can normally. I could just say, hey, you know who, and she'll say what. But I have to press the phone, so I'm going to put it up here.
Press
Just
and
watch.
hold.
Press and hold. Hey, pewter.
How can I help you, Lego Batman?
Hey, look at that.
You've tricked it. It thinks you're Lego Batman.
Hey, pewter.
Hello, sir. I've heated up your lobster thermidor in the microwave. I'm one step ahead of you, Alfred.
Wow.
What?
Pewter.
Did she think you were somebody else? She called
one.
you Alfred.
Alfred is, his
it is?
butler.
The butler.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Pewter.
Welcome home, sir. For your information, Robin is trying on costumes in the Batcave again. He's doing some pirouettes in Batrishnikov.
So is this just like strictly for our entertainment?
I think so. I mean, clearly Siri will go on and answer your questions, but there are any number of, hey, Pewter.
I am at your service, Lego Batman, sir.
Hey, Pewter.
Hello, sir. Alfred is on the 17th floor, caulking the tiles in the second bathroom of the 5th master bedroom.
Well, as you can see,
As
you don't
he
have to
should.
be a kid who likes Lego Batman. You can be a big kid like Brandon and get a lot of
It's so fun.
enjoyment out of it, too.
Yeah. Carr, this was Carr's idea this morning. I said, hey, what should I do? And he said, what about this thing with
No, he's our high-tech traffic producer in the morning show. So
and the biggest
no doubt
kid
he's
you'll ever
on the
meet.
cutting edge.
But I sat there and did it about 30 times when I was getting ready.
Did you know?
It's fun.
Good preparation.
Yeah.
Nice.
How can I help you, Lego Batman?
Should we talk about what's happening with Sports Illustrated?
Yes,
the
please.
Michigan connection.
I will say on the air this morning, Rhonda, you wouldn't allow us much of a view of it.
Well,
See, but
out
here
of
we don't have the
respect for
FCC
Justin
watching. We can
Verlander.
show anything we want.
Ooh. Hey now.
Yeah.
there you go.
there
It is
she
Kate
is.
There's the
Upton
3 covers.
again.
Yep.
All 3 covers because she has appeared not just this year, but she is the 3rd time with a very coveted position. Getting the cover of Sports
cover.
Illustrated once in a lifetime for a supermodel is a big deal. So that she's doing it now her 3rd time is pretty darn impressive.
2012, 2013, and 2017. This is, what is this tweet?
This is Kate Upton. She said, wow, so honored and excited to be back with the swimsuit edition, an issue that celebrates beauty and confidence in all shapes and sizes. And Verlander also tweeted, congrats to my amazing fiance on being named 2017 cover.
Can we
You're so
talk
incredible.
about that angle of it? Having, just a gorgeous, but also, very sexy and kind of that symbol to a lot of men who I'm sure have, the old covers and pictures and posters.
Yeah.
This is his fiance. This is who,
Right.
he loves. And to have her be the symbol to so many other men, like, I just wonder, you got to be very confident, very secure, I'm thinking, as a man.
Yep. I'm sure that they've been to enough celebrity gatherings where Kate Upton is, even in those settings, one of the most beautiful people in the room and perhaps getting hit on. But so he's probably been through this for years with her.
Yeah,
so
but
he
it's
knows.
something's got to weigh on you a little bit, as
sure.
a man. And I mean, no man wants his wife to be sought after, or or I'm not to say that someone's trying to take her away, but just the
Not to mention the mystery, the cat's out of the bag kind of thing. Like everybody can see.
Yeah, although having one of the most gorgeous women,
Yeah.
in everybody's eyes, but she's yours. You get to wake up to her every day, and you're going to marry her soon.
John,
Probably
can we
not a
put the
bad
picture
role.
up? I just wanted to back up the truck a little bit here.
Really? Are we doing this?
I just thought. Now I have to admit I love Justin Verlander and Kate Upton. To me, is there something different about her now or no? Is this always how she's looked? She just looks younger.
You think she looks younger now?
Younger now, and maybe fitter now. I mean, I'm not judging.
Well, hey.
She's always been a great spokesperson for any size modeling. She's gone through some, weight changes.
She's not like the skinny.
Right.
She looks like she's healthy. That she,
Right. Yeah,
gets a
she's
chance
not-
to eat every now and then,
Right.
and not just be so waif-like.
But she did look in the full body shot, which Rhonda let us see for a second and a half, which is why memory is not clear. But I thought that she looked very, very thin in this one.
Maybe she is thinner.
I'm gonna have to buy
Or maybe
it to
there was a
find
little
out.
airbrushing.
There's
sometimes
always that-
you can't believe everything that you look at. When you're looking at it on the pages of a magazine, there's been some touching up.
Is that still a thing? Because
Hey, touch me up. If I'm on the cover of a magazine, like,
I agree, and maybe they do too. But
I'd
everybody.
love to be taller, thinner, have more ab muscles, and more tone. And
Social media, I mean, she's going to be on the beach in Buenos Aires in 2 weeks, and people are going to be taking pictures, and you're going to be like, wait a minute. That's the only thing I wonder about, is if they still airbrush because of...
We'll find out because people will be tweeting it. Now it's so much sharing on social media. So if that's the case, we'll see her.
I'm in.
You're in for what?
Buying several. What?
Okay.
I got to hand them out, people.
What is this story about the brides?
Brides throwing cats, Rhonda?
I don't understand it.
Well,
I found this morning, and it really, this is a whole website called bridesthrowingcats.com, and
it's got its own site.
They Photoshop the bouquet out and put a cat in.
Woo!
So nobody's actually throwing a cat.
No one is throwing cats. This is absolutely fake, but it's amazing.
What
Look
does
at that
it
one.
mean? Is it supposed to have some kind of meaning?
No. This was just some guy who likes cats and Photoshop.
There's a great one that
From
I
Australia. He's from Australia. Give us your Australian accent, Brandon.
saw. Good day, brides. What we have here is cats throwing. You got to watch out for the claws as they come at you. You know, they get into your hair.
Oh, they could get into like the lace in your dress. It could be trouble.
That could be trouble. He's right. And there's one, the best one that I saw. And John, I did some research on this, so I think I looked at the website, but I went to something else too. And there was a picture of one. It was like an over-the-shoulder throw, and almost like you would spiral it backwards. And there's this like chubby cat, like, you know, tucked in like a missile, like he's coming,
really?
like he's coming at you, like you want to do this? Let's do this. You know, it was pretty funny.
Oh, if you'd like to find that one, apparently bridesthrowingcats.com is the place to go.
It's got its own
a place
website.
where our wonderful team here likes to hang out in their free time.
Well, you just imagine. I mean, you've been to so many weddings, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're probably not front row looking for the bouquet, right?
No, I'm
mean,
actually trying to be like, I don't even want to be out there.
Right.
I mean, when I was
crazy.
younger, you know, in your 20s,
Yeah.
but then after a while, you're like, you know.
let the
So I went to a wedding this summer at the Grosse Pointe War Memorial. It was a beautiful wedding.
Yeah.
And then it came time for that point, and I like stayed back in my seat, you know, like, oh, let's I'll observe this wonderful moment. And they were like, Rhonda, get up here, girl, get up here.
right.
So
we need our local celebrity
I'm
up
like
here.
I'm like in the back row, hoping that she doesn't have a good arm. So.
And they rarely do.
No.
It usually ends up 3 feet in front of the kids in the
It's
front
tough
row.
to make a perfect toss behind
It hits
you.
something always.
It's not something
or-
you practice. I mean, maybe you practice the first dance, you practice walking, sitting in your dress, different things about the ceremony. But
Just not throwing
the
cats.
perfect toss. Sometimes you got to toss it more than once because you threw it straight up in the air and nobody caught it, or you threw it too far, or
One thing is for sure, though.
a lot that goes into it.
100% of the cats thrown landed on their feet.
There you go.
They all do.
So then maybe it should be the cats.
There is, animal cruelty concerns. Yeah,
There are,
I
so
get-
they're not really throwing
Sometimes
the cat.
I make jokes in the morning show, and I get in all kinds of trouble when it comes to pets. But obviously, these are all
But
photoshopped
here's the
or
deal.
what?
Because that cat is in the air.
Yeah. At one
We
point,
don't know if it jumped off of something, or if somebody really did throw that cat. Not the bride, but someone else to get the image.
Cat videos on Facebook, on the internet, on America's Funniest Home Videos are the greatest thing ever. I mean, it's just
I have never watched a cat video.
Oh,
on
they're
any of
they're
these
just
things.
hysterical. They do the craziest things.
I guess I have, like, well, no, that's dogs where they chase their tail.
Right,
Don't
but
cats-
cats like, if they see
Yarn
something or whatever,
and-
they jump like, straight up in the air or backwards into something. My cat the other day, the dog stepped on him, and so he took off and ran toward the kitchen table where he goes and hides underneath.
Oh, 'cause you don't want the
on
dog
chairs.
after you.
And he was so freaked out. It was a wood floor, and he was kind of sliding, and he jumped sideways and just slammed into the side of the chair. I mean,
And you were entertained. Where's
extremely.
the video on that?
I know. I was upset with
That
myself.
could be our top video of the morning on the morning show.
Brides throwing cats. All right.
Or your cat. What's your cat's name?
Miggy.
Miggy.
Miguel Cabrera.
Miggy Moments.
Yes,
Miggy
Miggy.
Moments. Monday Miggy Moments.
It is
Tune in.
on.
We might have a Monday Miggy moment on Monday morning. Let's try and get some good video with that phone.
Currently, just he's pooping in the basement a little bit, and
Really?
I don't know that people would be all that interested in seeing that kind of stuff.
No, they don't want to hear about it either.
Other thing about cats is that you just never know what is in their brains. Like, why we let him outside? He's got 2 litter boxes in the house.
Why go anywhere else?
Why would you? What are you trying to tell me, Miggy? I would help. Just speak to me.
Let's see. What else do we have?
India's space agency has successfully launched 104 satellites from a single rocket.
What?
And that's a
pretty
record
impressive.
feat, very much so. Tripling the current record of 37. I mean, just slaughtering the current record. So it's now 104 satellites from a single rocket. The Russians did it in 2014 with 37 satellites.
Was it carrying anything specific?
But no, this is just one main satellite that's going to be used for Earth observation, and then smaller nano satellites. So they're not the full-size satellite that we're thinking, but it's pretty incredible. Most of them belong to the U.S., I believe.
Oh, all right. That's impressive. Anything space-related, I just find the ability to...
It is
like
crazy.
The intelligence is just another level. I mean, to be able to conceptualize and then bring into fruition, just the analysis, the data that it takes in order to do what they do in space.
As a meteorologist,
phenomenal.
I rely on this. The satellites are so important in telling us how weather moves and where the big storms are. When you think about those crazy hurricane videos, the monster cloud cover with the eye in it, those are satellites. So these nano satellites, though, are able to hone in on certain specific things as well. Could be military use, could be...
I was going to say people.
Yep, they're watching you.
Miggy the cat. I'm going to get some answers about what happens with Miggy when you're at work. That's very impressive.
You know the comedian Stephen Wright?
No.
He used to talk really dry like this.
Oh, yeah.
Had that curly hair. He once had a joke like, the other day, I rolled down my window and went like this to the sky. I took a satellite picture.
You're good, Brandon. That's a good impression.
I don't know. He's a little deeper.
You're 2 for 2 right now. That
so let's take
Australian
a quick
guy was
look.
good too.
Fort Myers, we got the Eagle Cam still up.
Yes.
He's doing well.
Oh, wow. What's happening with the eagle?
That is the eaglet, who's now becoming a big boy or girl. So I imagine they go through all kinds of metamorphosis on, the fur to the feathers.
And they stay right there in the nest?
Well, it's been about 6 weeks, I think, since it hatched. So it's still got another couple weeks before it even attempts a flight.
Wow.
Yeah, they have to...
Where is that?
Fort Myers.
Fort Myers, Florida. And
just up in some tree somewhere? Someone found it?
No, well, yeah, they probably have been watching this site for a while. Do you guys know the history on the actual camera?
This is Dick Pritchett Real Estate. Sponsored this live stream and went up there and put a camera in the tree. And
So the Eagle Cam has been popular for probably 3 months now, waiting on the eagles to hatch. Were there 2 of them?
There were 2 eggs. Usually only one of them will hatch, and if both of them hatch, only one will usually survive.
Yeah.
Really?
Because at some point the parent will decide that one of them has a better chance and will specifically just feed one.
The alpha of the 2. Yeah, I watch these nature shows all the time.
You do?
I do in the evening, and that stuff doesn't bother me.
The one in your house and on TV.
Survival of the fittest in these situations, and they know. You just sort of have to understand that Mother Nature, everything is aligned. Everything happens for a reason. But both eagle parents, I think, in this are very attentive and come back. Oftentimes, you'll see them, feeding, and it takes weeks for them to get the strength. That body is getting really big, and they have to be able to jump out of that nest and literally hit the ground running.
Survive.
They cannot afford to just, boom.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
I watched something
I'll
on
have to check it out.
Albatross is another one that I was watching last weekend, and it takes the little babies a long time. They're on the beach, and they're relying on the wind to get them up and going. But I mean, it takes them days and days and days of just going up 2 feet and down. All right.
I handled that.
That felt all right.
Kind of like riding a bike.
But then they have to. But then they finally figure out how to get up, and they go out and they land in probably 30 feet off the beach in the water, and there's killer whales and sharks coming after them. I mean.
And you learn how to get up a lot faster and a lot further. But it reminds me of riding a bike for humans. If there is any kind of analogy that we can make, you start with your training wheels, and then
you never forget.
Training wheels come off, and you're free. Free as a
Free as a bird, Rhonda. Good one. You're 1 for 1.
Thank you.
Are we going to get into the next two? Are we just going?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pistons? What's going on with the Pistons?
Well, a little up and down this year, Rhonda. You've been going to games.
I have been going to games. I hit the games on the weekends. They are usually really good at home, so I've seen some good ones, but they're under 500 now. So
they're in the 8th spot.
So that's good.
They're still in a playoff position, but ESPN's Zach Lowe spent some time in Auburn Hills last week. Today, put a long article together detailing what the Pistons might do ahead of the trade deadline, which is is it a week from today? Or
the 23rd?
The 23rd?
Next Wednesday?
Next Thursday.
Thursday. Okay. So
no, do not trade Reggie Jackson or Andre
they are
Drummond.
shopping their 2 best players.
Oh, why would they do that?
Well, it's one of those things where they're probably just not getting past the point of where they hoped they would be at this point.
But they're still a young, developing team.
I know, and they could probably get a ton for those 2 guys.
And then we get to watch, especially Andre Drummond, who started here out of high school, excel for a whole nother organization.
And that, you know what?
I just don't like that.
That would not be fun. I mean,
no, it wouldn't.
Monroe, who went to Milwaukee, that was one thing because the jury was still out on him. And
he had a good game against us recently.
Did he?
Yeah.
He's not having a great time over there in Milwaukee, but you know that Andre Drummond, wherever he would go, would do great, but you certainly don't want to see him go. But
he's a good guy. He's a good role model, a good guy, a good player that just continues to get better and better every year. Kind of shook off the issues he had with the free throws. He's not perfect now, but he's gotten better.
There are going to be teams that need someone like him to compete with the Cavs and the Warriors. There are teams like Houston and San Antonio and
So we'd get
Boston.
Someone from one of those teams.
Yeah, you would get some kind of, there'd probably be a 2 or 3 team deal where they shift some things around and you'd get a number of players or draft picks moving forward and, rebuilding kind of a thing.
Which we've been rebuilding for, the
it would
last,
extend that.
6 or 7 years, it seems like.
Yep.
I mean, it's been a decade or more since we won a title, but still, it just seems like we've been constantly in this rebuilding phase with these young players and trying, to get that right mix, which is it's a delicate science for all those coaches because you don't know how it's going to work.
You don't. Maybe you just need a new attitude, a new start at Little Caesars Arena.
Right.
You just sort of tabula rasa, clean slate, start over. And
I think, speaking of starting over, we're kind of in that same boat. The Red Wings are struggling too.
Yeah.
You hope maybe that new arena, the new energy, probably a lot new people are going to want to, for the first time, maybe buy season tickets or, have an opportunity to fill up some of the seats. Because I have to say, during the week, going to the Pistons game, it looks like it's about 50% capacity. Sometimes more, depending on the team that comes in.
Yeah.
Weekends a little bit better, but there's a lot of empty seats. So it'd be nice to see that energy return, and certainly having a new arena will make a difference.
Yeah,
at least
it will.
From a fan base perspective, I would think.
I think the Red Wings are probably in worse shape than the Pistons. There's a lot of really good teams in hockey ahead of them. They're not even in a playoff position right now. They're absolutely in sell mode, whether or not management agrees with that, but they're the kind of team that would be targeted to sell. And they have some big contracts and some wasted money on that team. So, both teams could be wheeling and dealing here.
Looking a lot different.
It has always been different for our teams. The Tigers and Red Wings have been more buyers because they've been in position to make runs and do well. And now, the tides have turned a little bit in Detroit. So the Lions did well for us, and I think the Tigers are going to have a good year. But I don't know about the Pistons and the Red Wings finishing off.
Well, maybe now that everybody's all going to be in one, mile radius here in downtown Detroit, all the players can feed off of each other and the fans, and we can see kind of a turnaround for everybody and improvements for the Lions too. That's my wish for the seasons ahead.
Well,
because it's hard when we don't have anyone. I mean, the Lions gave us a lot of excitement. They did.
They did. It's tough to get through the winter though without. The Spartans aren't doing real well. Michigan
beat Ohio State last night, though.
They did, but if they weren't Tom Izzo and had the reputation they did, I don't think they'd even be considered to make the tournament,
Right.
but because they do have a reputation,
Absolutely.
they probably can do well. I think they'll probably get in, but there's not a whole lot sports-wise to get excited about around here these days, so...
We'll still get excited, though. March Madness will be here before we know it.
Will be. One last item on here, which is the Tom Brady cockroach story.
Tom Brady cockroach story?
Cucaracha, yeah. So the Atlanta Zoo and Rhode Island's Roger Williams Park Zoo. So you remember, it was the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots. So these two zoos made a cheesy Super Bowl bet in which the losing team would have to name a baby animal the winning team's quarterback. So since the Patriots won, there's Tom Brady.
Seriously, they
Right?
picked the smallest possible thing they could find.
Yeah.
A Madagascar hissing cockroach.
Man, hissing cockroach. Could you, what animal do you think the Detroit Zoo picked for a team that beat us?
I think we'd probably go there, too.
A hissing cockroach or a donkey.
What's
you know
the
what
one
I'm
thing
saying?
that really stinks? Like when it's... I can't remember what insect it is.
A dung beetle? No, I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, something
We do have
that's
to go.
fuming and annoying.
We have cut-ins.
Yeah, we do.
John,
So-
I don't know if you're going to play us out.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for allowing us into your office, your home, your wherever you are today.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Carr was just taking a day of rest, so we're
Yes.
happy to fill in for him on
So
Jason
you might see
Carr
us again
Live.
sometime.
We're the new
This is
fill-in.
my first time on Jason Carr Live.
Yeah.
Although it says Brandon Rue Live.
They were not expecting Rhonda Walker today, so
I thought I'd stop by. I didn't want to leave you here by yourself.
I had a lot of fun.
You know you're one of my favorite people around here.
Ditto, girl. Any
been a
radio
pleasure,
stations out
everybody.
there hiring?
Yeah, we can work in the afternoons.
All right,
Get
so
like a second paycheck.
Mike Morse Law Firm sponsors the big show today, right, guys?
Always.
What else do we
Yeah.
need to say?
And our team.
That's it.
Thanks for all
Stay
the
classy, Detroit.
awesome content.
Have a great.
Jason Carr Live was sponsored by the Mike Morris Law Firm, 855 Mike Wins.